Oh, more wildcard stuff, man. Because you put it in the comments, and I try to read all the comments. Humble brag. But I have a shitload of videos. So like, you know, I have 1,500 videos. Don't let the reacts video number fool you. Those are just reaction numbers, which are 1,436 at the time of this posting. But those don't include guitar performances or like a random shit or guitar tutorials. It doesn't include any of that. So like, if I get one comment a day, which leave them, that shit is baller. But if I was to get one comment a day per video, I would have 1,500. And dude, I can barely keep my shit together. Like, how am I gonna do that? And I'm not gonna fake that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I could hire someone, but I'm not rich, so I'm not gonna do that. That's also just weird. Hey, dude, I'm gonna hire you, bro. Like, once you go look at all my comments, like, that's just disgusting. So, not ever gonna happen. Anyways, oh, and then another thing in the comments is like, I think there's a compilation video. It's like, why don't you write the compilation? Because that's terrible. That's as if like your restaurant had 10 amazing desserts and you were just like, just try them all 10 in a row. No, because by the time I got to dessert number 8, I would be so disgusted from eating dessert that I would just hate desserts 9 and 10. Anyways, like, no, everyone gets their own spot. Anyways, dudes, the man in the inn, y'all said this is melodic. Let's go. I gotta breathe. It's weird. It's gonna remind myself to breathe. This is something guitar players go through a lot. Maybe not electric players. Well, no one probably critiques you. But when you play solo classical music, people who judge you and give you feedback, you're like, bro, breathe. We can see you holding your breath up there. I'm like, oh yeah. Oxygen. Oxygen is like recommended for most performances. I should probably breathe. All right, so let's shoulders up, shoulders down. Let's relax, and let's get ready to like get lit. I got a lumbar support back here. That's like a whole nother issue, but it's dope. I like having it. Anyways, let's go. Can we go? If you're not stopping me, only I'm stopping me. Oh, that's like a metaphor for life. No one is stopping me, only I am stopping myself. Let's go. Is my mic good? Kind of. The mic's kind of shitty.
Hi, this is Dudz from Brazil, and this is my 2020 SBX Camp Showcase Wildcard. Let's go. Maybe you don't know who I really am.
Oh, hold on. I just want to say, it looks like he uses my same mic pack. He just has the pop filter on top. I recommend it. It's like $70 maybe on eBay. It's pretty. I like it.
So I'm gonna show that I am the man.
Nice trumpet. Hey. All right, I want to move with you.
That I am the man. You don't. You don't know. You don't. You don't know. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. You know I really am. So I'm gonna show that I am the
All right, I'm gonna have something to say. Unless this changes, right now, I have a clear issue. You're right. He's melodic. His timing is good. He's done a good job of mixing everything together. But I have an issue, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know if he doesn't change.
Have you ever wondered how it's gonna be the end? Everything you conquered.
I like his singing, though. I like his singing a lot.
I know you have some questions, and I have a confession. The answer is so clear. Just close your eyes, my dear.
Okay, my complaint is going to stay legit, apparently.
Are you afraid of death? If it is the only...
Dude, his singing voice is so good. We'll talk.
Darkness and emptiness. You won't feel it if you're heartless. Let me tell you a story. You are not going to the sky. No heaven, no glory. Eternity will be passing by.
His technique is awesome, but
now no, I am the man.
all right. It's okay. One, let's like couch this two ways. Let's talk about what is awesome is that his clarity between the parts and his delivery is spot on. So my problem is actually with the arrangement. It's with the choices of the notes. And this is weird because we're going to go a little higher level with this. Higher level meaning your understanding of scales and harmony. Okay, so the most traditional way of trying to like make sure my mic pack works, I'm going to try to get it out of the way so I can play some guitar. What is in the box and outside of the box when it comes to pitches? Okay, so in the box means as the chords are changing, which there are chords here, even though he's a soloist, there are clear chords that are happening because of the melody he's playing. Okay, so in the box means notes that are found naturally within that scale. I don't want to go too technical. It's going to be technical anyways. I'm trying to like pull it back. So a scale is like 7 unique notes. It's 8 notes when you get to the final note, but 1 and 8 are the same, they're repetitions. So you have 7 unique notes. Okay. So one way you can play across chord changes, or your bass line can be across chord changes, is you just keep rotating the box. It's the same collection of notes. You just rotate your starting points. So where you start and where you end is different, but it turns out the notes you use for everything is the same. And that's what's going on here. He's really using 7 notes for the entire construction. And so it's gonna be kind of weird to hear this without a backing track. You would need probably, you'd need some chords in the background to hear how they sound over the chord changes, right? So for example, let's say we're playing on like a D7 chord. Oh, let me move this mic up a little bit. Okay, hopefully that'll work. So one way in the box you play, right? Yeah, Okay, so now I'm trying to phrase it where it sounds cool. But all of those notes are in the box. So now let's take a similar scale, mixed Lydian flat 2, flat 6, which is, it's not as fancy as it sounds. These are just names for combinations of notes. And the more combinations you have, the more names you need. So it's really just like a nomenclature system. So anyways, so we can change a couple notes instead of going, whoops, right? We can change it to, now all of a sudden it has more of an Eastern flavor. Or we can go way outside the box. Now hearing that, you should immediately go, that sounds like trash. Because these are mostly wrong notes. But in the context of changing your sound, you can throw in these wrong notes for like a half of a second, for half of a measure, and they give you a lot of diversity to your playing. So for example, let's say we're chilling on this D note. And I'm going to go up a whole step. I'm going to go from D to E and make that like a jam. Well, if I replace the E with an E flat, I just go like a half step lower. If I'm playing D to E and then I go D to E flat, we have one outside the box note and it adds color to our sound. So watch. And I can do the same thing going a half step below. Right? And there's many ways you can add color, but all of his note choices were inside the box. His execution was awesome, but his note choices, which maybe, I don't know if that's a cover or anything, because like apparently I don't know shit about like music that's popular, which is sad. I wish I did know more. But I think coloring the music with outside note choices it's huge. It's huge. I'm trying to give you the easiest example ever. Let's take one single chord, a D chord. And we're going to do D chord in the box and D chord outside the box. So here's D chord in the box, like a country player. Now let's take the same chord and we're going to make it a dominant 7. We're going to play a D7 and we'll put a little bit of funk on it. You hear how radically different those are? Radically different. This song is like... that's extremely stable, very warm, very at home. Whereas this D7 sharp 9 is like funkier, tenser. And we add a little bit of chromaticism. I'm just going to take the same chord and walk up, right? So it's always about this calibration, to me. It's always about this calibration between stability, where the audience feels very much at home, and the listener feels very much at home and very safe. And then departing from that and creating instability, and then you bring them back home and let them know it's safe. So you create home. It's the same thing like a movie, right? Like the hero's journey. We start off in a safe place. We leave our safe place. We find obstacles. We defeat them. And then we come back home to the safe place. And to me, his technique was not safe. His technique was awesome and pushing the boundaries. But his note choices were safe the whole time. Which is like, I mean, that's another struggle, which means like for him to go outside of the box, what he would have to do is learn to sing those scales I'm playing on the guitar and then shift between them in his live performance. I mean, being a badass is tough, dude. Like, I'm not a beatboxer. I'm not like on like some beatboxing championship thing. Like, I'm not that guy. I don't do that, but I can hear what you're doing and go, oh, this is like a way to change this up. Oh, and also all of his lines were linear. What do I mean by linear? So let's stay inside the box on that. Say that D chord. So linear would be like. Is that right? Hold on. It's all linear. I'm just moving up at a time. Up and down, note by note. And a lot of the bass line was in there. But you could do arpeggios, you know. And you can sing that. Da, da, da. My singing sucks, but da, ba, 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 right? Da, 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 da. Anyways, this is one of those dudes. This is like what, as you see more and more amazing performers, you realize that what they're missing is actually not technical ability. It's choices outside of their technique. He's awesome. As far as his execution, awesome. But his choices, I think he should push the boundaries on his choices. And I 100% believe he has the ability to execute outside of that box. And, you know, really, I just think of it as like playing certain notes where the moment you hit them, it's almost like a cat. Like when you drag like you could have a cat that's like basically asleep, and then you drag a string across the floor, and the cat's like, oh, what? So like, pick a couple of notes that the moment you hit those notes, everyone who's listening goes, what? Wait, what just happened? Otherwise, you're going to lull them to sleep. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you play too much of the same thing, then the audience is going to get hypnotized, but not in a good way. They're going to get hypnotized like a lullaby. I mean, think about a lullaby, like songs people play for kids to go to sleep. That's not an illusion. That's a real thing, because the repetition of the melody and the chord structure actually makes people fall asleep when they keep hearing the same thing. So you have to like shock them. Now, of course, you could shock them a stupid way. You could shock them by going super loud and screaming at them or something. But I mean, shock them with your musical choices in the context of the piece. If you think I sound douchey, you're not alone. Sometimes when I'm talking, I'm like, man, I feel like I sound like a douchebag. Except for like the most valuable years of my musical life were people who gave me constructive advice on how to alter how I did certain things. And it was just priceless. At first I was like, what? Huh? What did you say? But then I realized like, oh, I'm not going to get this insight about how I sound from other people. You know what? I mean, one of the best ways to do it is to record yourself, which he's done because he's on YouTube. But sometimes when you record yourself, you go back and what you're judging is not how good it is. You're judging how well you did on your choices. And sometimes what's helpful is to have someone go, I think your choices could be different. Again, I think 10 out of 10 on his execution, but 7 out of 10 on the choices he made with the composition. You know, I feel shitty sometimes when I make these because it all depends on how the person reacts. If the person's like, who are you to, bro, like, why are you telling me how to do things? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to piss him off, and now I feel like a bad guy because we like to hear good things about ourselves. But sometimes people show up in the channels and are like, dude, thank you for reacting to this, and I like what you have to say. So, like, I don't know which way it's going to go, but that's life. Like right now, if someone's in the comments, dude, your hair is like fucking terrible, man. Be like, yeah, I know. Aren't you like too old to be doing like beatbox shit? I'd be like, probably. Like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, fuck. Anyways, y'all be good to each other. 20 minutes? I talk too fucking much. I'm out of here. 1, 2,